Off the Record's a program you're listening to. We do have Willy Vlautin on the line here. How are you, Willy?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
That's all right. From Richmond Fontaine, we're just saying we didn't think you were going to call in, but we're glad you did.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry I'm a little late.
Now, you're in Australia to perform some gigs, and you'll be here next week on Sunday, May the 30th at the East Brunswick Club. What format have you got? Because you're not bringing the whole the whole band's not with you, are they, Richmond Fontaine?
No, I'm traveling with a guitar player, Dan Eccles, and we do a lot of shows as a duo sometimes, and I'm here also for the Sydney Writers Festival, and so I've been promoting. I have a new novel out called Lean on Pete, and then Dan and I decided to come over and do some shows as well.
Tell us about the novel, because last time you were here we were talking about The Motel Life, which I've noticed has got great reviews.
Yeah, the new novel's it's about a kid who ends up working at a horse track and kind of befriends this kind of Phelan racehorse named Lean on Pete, and he steals the horse and everything falls apart after that. It's the same world as the songs, you know, and all my stories. I'm stuck in that world.
Well, people wouldn't be surprised to find that you are a novelist because your songs are so literary.
Yeah, I've been writing songs and stories for 20 years, kind of side by side. The great Australian songwriter Paul Kelly kind of turned me on to a guy named Raymond Carver, a short story writer. And ever since then, I think I was 20, I've been writing stories along with my songs.
Tell us about that experience, how you first sort of heard about, or you saw Paul, didn't you? And then you sort of picked up on Raymond Carver.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Gossip. I still think that's one of the great records by Paul Kelly. And then he put out a record called So Much Water, So Close to Home. And there's a song on that record called Everything's Turning to White. And it's basically a song version of a Raymond Carver short story. And on the liner notes it said, based on a Raymond Carver short story. I was so moved by the song and the story of it that I went and found this writer who actually grew up near where I live. But I had no idea, and he wrote basically just stories about working class people trying to hang on, trying to get by, and it meant a lot to me. And it changed me, and I decided right then I wanted to write stories like him, and so my songs became more story-oriented songs, and that's when guys like Paul Kelly are big inspirations.
And in your songs, you don't feel the constraint of having to have rhyming couplets, do you?
That's why I still play in bars, man. The guys in my band get mad at me sometimes because, I forget. I get so wrapped up sometimes in the stories that everything else becomes secondary, and I think that's why the band's been so great is they kind of rein that in. I think especially on our new record, We Used to Think the Freeway Sounded Like a River. It's probably our most, it's my most pared back lyrically.
That's almost a Raymond Carver title in itself, isn't it?
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's really interesting growing up, living right where he grew up. He kind of just sinks into you, slips into you all the time.
Well, tell us about the recording of the album, because one of the people you used to help you on the album is the great J.D. Foster, who you've worked with a bit.
Yeah, he's pretty much a member of the band, really, J.D. I think to all of us, he's like the wise uncle you wish you had. So when we're feeling unconfident or unsure of what to do, we bring JD in, and it's just easy. For this record, we stayed in Portland and had all our old friends, and the drummer's brother, Sean Oldham's brother, Colin Oldham, played all over the record too. So it was kind of a family affair, and old friends played all over that record. So yeah, it's lucky. Anytime JD comes in, it's easy.
Well, the rest of the band might get a little bit angry at you not writing catchy pop songs, Willy, but I was thinking you're in a pretty good place in terms of your career because you've got the band that you can tour with. You've also got your writing. It may not be, the records may not be topping the Billboard charts, but it seems to be you've reached a pretty good state in your career.
Yeah, I like the songs that we do and the stories I write and the band. I mean, we're all pals, the thing that I think keeps Richmond Fontaine together is I think we still think we're a pretty decent band, but we're all friends. And so that's the main thing. And I think if our songs made it to the top of the charts, the world would be in serious disarray. So I'm pretty happy where we're at.
Well, there's a parallel universe somewhere where they are at the top of the charts.
I don't know if I want to live there, but it would be pretty fun.
What sort of material are you going to be performing when you come to Melbourne and at your other gigs? Because you're doing a few other gigs in Brisbane and Sydney.
We can do pretty much. I write all the songs on acoustic guitar, so we can do pretty much any of the Fontaine songs. So we'll be pretty heavy on the new stuff, but we can play all the old songs. So it'll be mostly just Richmond Fontaine songs from our whole catalog.
Will you be bringing some books to sell as well?
Yeah, I'll have books, and we'll have all our CDs and stuff like that.
Great. Well, we look forward to seeing you next weekend. And I thought I might play... I played a song earlier on called A Letter to the Patron Saint of Nurses, which was...
hey, thanks for playing that one.
I thought I might play You Can Move Back Here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a song I wrote for my brother, really. It's a song, about a guy that's kind of drowning in the city, and you want to tell him he can come back, that he doesn't have to be a great man or accomplish something great in a city, that if he comes back and it's just him, that's good enough, So it was just a song for my brother.
Hey, before we play that, I went to Portland last year. I visited Portland. Travelled up just to see Bob Dylan, as you do, and it struck me that there was a similarity between, say, Melbourne and Portland and the music scene there. It's got a pretty interesting music scene up there, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the strongest music scenes in America, really. There's so many great bands out of Portland, and so many great musicians moved to Portland. When I moved to Portland in 1994, I think, there was a ton of great musicians then, and it's just gotten more and more, and there's, you can see great original music in dozens of clubs every night. It's a great music and art town.
They used to say about Melbourne that the reason it was such a music town was because the weather was so bad, people didn't go surfing here, they stayed indoors and made music. And in Portland, the sky is really interesting because it always looks as though it's about to rain even when the sky's clear.
Yeah, and it does. It rains on and off for 9 months a year, and maybe that's part of it. People stay inside and write gloomy songs or what. But it's a beautiful place, and I think in America, and maybe it's like this everywhere. The up and coming art town. Every kid, weird art kind of kid from all over the small towns, kind of flock there. So you get a bunch of different kinds of ideas, and people from all over America, kids will come to Portland. Good musicians, and people that want to live their lives around that lifestyle. And, it just breeds really good music.
Well, Willy, thanks for talking to us once again, and we'll see you next Sunday at the East Brunswick Club Hotel. Look forward to it.
Hey, thanks for having me,
Thanks.
and I look forward to it as well.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.